Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today's video is about an energetic corgi dog named Jack Rule, and his favorite thing to do is to hang out in the backyard and look out of the window because he always wanted to go outside and explore the world. But unfortunately, he was never allowed to do that because his owner thought it wasn't safe for him to be out there. And so he would spend all day long just looking out the window and barking at everything he saw. He would bark at cars, at people, at birds, at anything that moved outside, and sometimes he would even chase his own tail when he got bored. One day, while Jack was looking out the window, he saw something that made him stop barking. It was a beautiful orange cat named Lucy who lived in the house across the street. Now Jack had seen Lucy before, of course, but this time she was sitting in her window and looking directly at him. And for some reason, this made Jack feel different. He didn't know what it was, but he couldn't take his eyes off her. So they just sat there staring at each other for hours until the sun went down and Lucy went inside. Jack was so excited. He couldn't believe he had finally met the cat of his dreams. From that day on, Jack would spend all his time staring out the window waiting for Lucy to come back. And when she did, they would spend hours just looking at each other and meowing and barking softly. They became best friends, even though they could never meet. Then one day, Lucy didn't come out to her window and Jack waited and waited, but she never showed up. And he started to get worried. Where was she? Had something happened to her? Was she okay? He couldn't understand why she wasn't there. And this went on for weeks. Jack would bark frantically whenever he saw someone walking by, hoping it was her, but it never was. And he began to lose hope that he would ever see her again. One day, Jack's owner decided to take him for a walk around the block. It was about time he got some exercise and fresh air. And maybe, just maybe, he would finally stop barking at the window all day long. So they put on his leash and started walking. As they were walking, Jack's ears perked up. He heard a familiar meow. Could it be? Was Lucy here? He pulled on the leash, trying to get closer to the sound, but his owner held on tight. "No, Jack, we're not going over there," he said firmly. "You don't know where that sound came from. It could be dangerous." But Jack didn't care. He wanted to find out where that meow came from, and so he started to run towards it, pulling his leash with all his might. Suddenly, the leash slipped out of his owner's hand and Jack was free. He ran as fast as he could towards the meowing and soon he saw her. There she was sitting on a fence post. She looked thinner than before and her fur was matted and dirty. But it was definitely Lucy, and she was meowing for help. Without thinking twice, Jack jumped onto the fence and started digging with his paws trying to get to her, but the fence was too high and he couldn't reach her. So he started barking loudly, hoping someone would hear him and help him get to Lucy. His owner came running when he heard Jack's barks, and when he saw what was going on, he quickly grabbed Lucy and put her in his jacket. Then he turned to Jack and said, "You stay here, boy. I'll take care of this." And with that, he disappeared around the corner. A few minutes later, they came back with some food and water for Lucy, and they stayed there with her until sunset. When it was dark, Jack's owner took them both home with him. At first, Jack was worried that his owner would get mad at him for escaping and running away. But his owner didn't say a word. He just gave Jack a big hug and scratched his ears. "Good boy," he said. "You found her. Thank you." And Jack wagged his tail happily. He didn't understand the words, but he could tell by the tone of his voice that he was happy. And so Jack's adventure ended with him getting his way. He now had Lucy all to himself, and no one could take her away from him. And even though Jack's owner still worried about letting him roam freely, he knew that Jack was a good boy and he wouldn't hurt a fly. And so he let him explore the backyard to his heart's content. Jack and Lucy spent their days playing in the backyard. They would chase each other around the trees, jump into the bushes, dig holes in the garden, and just have fun together. At night, they would cuddle up next to each other and sleep. Jack felt like he was living the dream. He had a loving owner, a beautiful wife, and a big backyard to play in. What more could a corgi ask for? But one day, while they were playing in the backyard, Jack started to feel sick. He threw up his food and didn't want to eat, and he spent most of the day sleeping. Lucy was worried about him, but he told her not to worry. He just needed some rest, he said. But she could tell something was wrong. She had known Jack for a long time now, and she could sense when he was feeling down. So she stayed by his side all day, licking him and purring to comfort him. When Jack's owner came home from work, he noticed that Jack hadn't come to greet him at the door like he usually did, and when he went to the backyard, he found Jack lying on the ground, still and lifeless. He was so shocked and saddened. He couldn't believe his best friend was gone. He buried Jack in the backyard and put a little headstone over his grave. Every day he would come out to the backyard and sit on the headstone, remembering all the good times he had with Jack. One day he was sitting there when he heard a familiar meow. He turned around and saw Lucy sitting on the fence, looking at him with sad eyes. He knew what she was doing. She was saying goodbye to Jack, and so he did the same. He stood up and walked towards her. "Goodbye, old friend," he whispered. "I will miss you." And with that, Lucy jumped down from the fence and disappeared into the bushes. The man stayed there for a few more minutes, then he went inside to mourn the loss of his best friend. The end. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video as much as I did. Making it brought me so much joy and happiness, and I can't wait to share it with all of you. Please don't forget to leave a like if you haven't already. I would really appreciate it. Also, please subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.